Since you have refused to obey the federal government's call to stop calling our dear president, our indefatigable president, T-Pain, Bishop Ononuga has said he's coming for you people. All of you that will not stop calling our amiable president T-Pain. Bishop Ononuga has said that he will be coming to get all of you. In case if you don't know Ononuga, wait, let me introduce Bishop Ononuga. Bishop Ononuga is the man that overtook Reno Mokri in the race to replace ousted Ajuri.
Ononuga, who is live for us here in our Abuja studio. It's good to see you, Mr. Ononuga, and thanks so much indeed for coming tonight.
I'm happy to be here.
You announced almost a month ago that the president will reshuffle his cabinet. And a lot of Nigerians thought that there will be, in a grand style, some kind of a shake-up in the cabinet. But what we saw was a minor adjustment or readjustment in the cabinet. Was there any decision, because we thought that there are more people that will go and there are more changes that will happen. What really happened?
Well, thank you. What happened was that the president did not just change his ministers whimsically. The change went through some procedure. From October last year, when we had a retreat, the president told the ministers that they will be assessed. But he told them even when he was swearing them in August that if they don't perform, he will fire them. But in October, during the retreat, the president now went further to say there will be a formal way of assessing the ministers. And Adiza, the special advisor on policy and coordination, was put in charge of that. And she didn't also do it whimsically. She used the technology, asking citizens of Nigeria to actually score the ministers. So it was after this process, I think some data were gotten from what people were saying and the scoring that Nigerians themselves made. And it was on that basis that the president acted upon and then picked those ministers who were asked to go. Well, people say sacked. The president used a milder word, said discharge. That's the way you use it. And when he asked them to go on Wednesday, he actually called them to a meeting, those who were affected, and told them about his decision and thanked them for their services to the country and wished them, all of them well. It was not like what we are used to before, people just being sacked on radio or television. He was very polite and he called them and told them.
So there was a meeting before the FEC was on Monday.
FEC was on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, the FEC held on Wednesday.
After the FEC, he asked those ministers to come and see him, and they went to see him. It was there he told them about his decision.
So there was no inclination at FEC that they were going to be removed?
No inclination.
So it was in that meeting, it was after that meeting that you now sent out a press statement saying that they have been relieved of their duties?
No, after that meeting, the president, first of all, called those ministers, those ones who were affected. He called them to his office and broke the news to them about what he plans to do. And thereafter, it was after that I now made that announcement.
So the president used Madam Adisa's assessment, a report from our office for his decision.
Yeah.
And this was also based on Nigerians' assessment.
Yeah, Nigerians called them.
So, because there are those who will say, there are those that a lot of people will think should never be in that cabinet. You've never heard of them, you've never seen what they have done, and yet they're still there. There are those who think that those who are relieved of their duties were perhaps those who do not have so much of political power to be able to, to find their ways to to retain their seat in the cabinet. And those are the ones that are left. By some assessment, those who believe that many more people should have been shown the door.
Well, I don't agree with you. I think nothing could have been much better than doing an assessment based on some empiricism. And that's what the president did. He didn't just sit down in the office and say, A must go, B must go. This was based on some data. That's what happened.
Has the president effectively fill the gap of some states that have lesser appointments in the cabinet?
I think so. For instance, Plato was missing after Senator Lalong left for the Senate. And on Wednesday, Professor Nentawe Yiltada or something like that, as the name, was announced to replace him. So he has taken the position.
What about Cross River?
Cross River.
Better Edu?
I think there's another person from Cross River in the cabinet.
So there were no inclination as to issues of Better Edu and
Better is
conclusion.
gone. Better is gone.
But what, I mean, he was suspended, but the president has never.
You know,
legally speaking, there are those who think that Better Edu said should even be paid because he was only suspended, but never announced to have been relieved of her duty.
She was suspended in January, don't forget, and this is October.
But the president has not removed him from his cabinet.
No,
she's
gone.
He still stands as a suspended member of cabinet.
No, she's gone. She's gone.
Officially?
Because our position has been taken over by somebody else. That's the man from Plato that's going there now.
So is there an official statement from the president to say she has been taken from suspension to being sacked from the cabinet?
Well,
for the records,
no.
Betaidu is a suspended minister.
Well, as far as this government is concerned, there's no more any place for her in that cabinet.
So Betaidu is gone. Her place is closed. Investigations are closed. Nothing has been found against her.
Well, I don't know about. I don't know. The EFCC has not shared whatever they have. But if you go by what the president has done, it shows that maybe the EFCC has submitted something that actually justified that suspension.
So if she was suspended, that means something was found against her.
Well, I'm not saying so. What I'm saying is that if you follow what the president has done, it means EFCC has said something, has revealed something that has formed the basis of the president's action.
So we now effectively have about 49 ministers, isn't it?
49? I've not counted them. The president actually merged some ministries. Tourism went back to Ministry of Culture, Arts and Creative Economy. And then the Sports Ministry was scrapped. And now we now have National Sports Commission. Somebody was appointed there. And I think what the president, we have reduced number of ministries. The number of ministers has not really expanded because Beta is no more there. And
but she has been replaced.
She has been replaced.
Lalong is no longer, but
Lalong has been replaced.
But you have added Livestock Ministry, and there's a new minister for that.
That's a ministry that the president deserves a lot of commendation for.
What about Minister of Agriculture?
No, the Minister
of duplication because
no, it's
you
not
have
duplication.
Livestock, you have Ministry of Agriculture.
If people understand the meaning of Minister of Agri, we tell you that the Agri Ministry is too large for one person to handle. Too large a ministry. And the livestock, we are supposed to focus on livestock. Livestock has a lot of possibilities. In fact, it can yield more money for this country in terms of even create more jobs than we even have under Agri.
Which could be handled as a parastatal under the Ministry of Agri.
It used to be a department of livestock under the ministry, a department. But if you look at what is under livestock, not just cattle, even poultry is a branch of livestock. Piggery is livestock. The sheep, and other animals, they are under livestock. It's huge. And what the president did is that, I think initially he didn't even know, he himself said it at a workshop on Thursday, that he didn't know the scope of this livestock thing until he began to see data and see, oh, this thing is really big. Let me give you an example. Our herdsmen, when they want to milk their cow, they only get about 1 pint or 1.5 pints per cow. Whereas if these cows are well kept, if they are well catered for, they can yield nothing less than 10 pints. So Nigeria is denying itself for a lot of things. If those cows are yielding enough milk, we can give milk to our children, we can do a lot of things with it, we can have many dairy industries in this country.
Mr. Ononuga, there are those who are asking tonight that, is there a justification? What is the purpose of the livestock? What does the Bola Tinubu government want to achieve We started having Ministry of Petroleum Resources because there is now a focus. When we moved away from focusing on agriculture, which was our mainstay at some point in our lives in this country, moving to petroleum, it became a big deal. And now, in fact, you can break it down into different layers, upstream, downstream, midstream, and all what have you. And the question will be, if there is a major purpose or agenda of this government in the area of livestock, whether we are planning to be the largest livestock producers in the world or in Africa, maybe it's justified. Is that a justification?
A
bigger picture.
In West Africa today, we have the largest livestock in West Africa today. In Africa, I think we are second to Ethiopia. So the government has seen that in fact, there are many possibilities that this country can reap from the livestock.
So we have figures to justify the
I don't have those figures here, but I can tell you that industry will even eclipse the agriculture ministry.
You know, your government has been criticized for unnecessarily enlarging what has been criticized earlier, a cabinet that should not be this much. If not for the position of the Constitution that guarantees that every state should be represented. There are those who believe that there are bigger countries who manage their own affairs with lesser amount of people in cabinet. America, maybe about 15 heads of departments that run the affairs of that country. In Nigeria, it seems that we love and enjoy to lavishly go around with government officials duplicating duties and roles. And your government has been criticized as one that has the largest number of cabinet members since 1999. And this is a government that says it wants to cut costs of governance.
I will not agree with you. All those who have been appointed for specific purposes to man certain ministries. And I think they are doing well.
And you think that we need 49 ministers?
If need be, maybe even need more. But you see, you yourself said just now that the Constitution says, imposes on us that we must appoint one minister per state, 36, one from FCT, 37. So the extra number you're talking about 10 or 11 people. But if you look at where the kind of manpower deployment, what the president has done, those people are there to do certain jobs, and I believe they are doing it very well.
And the president still keeps the job of Minister of Petroleum.
The president, I think I've answered this question somewhere. The president has never called himself Minister of Petroleum. We people in the media, we give him that position.
Who is the Minister of Petroleum?
Well, maybe we have two ministers there. As far as the president is concerned, we say Minister of State, Minister of Minister. As far as President Tinubu is concerned, they are all ministers. And we have two ministers there. And one of them focuses on gas. That's an area that this government found that in the past, Nigeria neglected that gas sector. And Nigeria is more of a gas country than an oil country. And President Tinubu is focusing on gas. You know, just recently, former President Obasanjo said he made a mistake during his time by not focusing on gas. And President Tinubu is rectifying that, by making sure that we are focusing now on gas.
So the fact is that we do not have a substantive Minister of Petroleum, but we have a Minister of State for Petroleum.
The president supervises all his ministers, all of them. But maybe you can call him a primus inter pares or something. He's in charge of everything. So he's in charge of our ministry. He's in charge of all the ministries under him.
Has Ajuri been replaced?
I don't know about that.
You work out, in the same, Sunday Dari's appointment, Sunday Dari is supposed to be working from the Ministry of Information. You are going to be in the presidency. Ajuri's role is slightly different from yours. And there are those who believe that Ajuri has not been replaced. What is the thinking of the president about the vacuum?
Well, there's no vacuum. There's never been a vacuum. The president has many qualified people in his media information, strategy everywhere. And so somebody leaves, didn't create any vacuum. In fact, I must say that the people who are around, everybody just filling the gap and the job continues. With Sunday's addition is to strengthen the team to have some value in some areas where the president maybe thinks you are lacking and things like that. So it brings somebody else to also strengthen our team.
Would you say that Bayo Ononuga is now the head of the media in the presidency? Is that the case now? Are you the official spokesperson of the president?
Well, everybody, all of us working for the president in the media, we are all spokesmen of the president, all of us. Not only just me, even Mr. Tunde Rahman, Mr. Demitogu Ajayi, Abdulaziz, we all speak for the president.
So you lead the
all
team
official
now.
spokesmen.
You lead the team now?
I've never been, there's never been something like that. But in terms of seniority, in terms of experience, I happen to be the man that is leading the team as of today.
Give us an understanding if there is a possibility of the president releasing the assessment results as used to judge the ministers. Is it possible?
I think it's in the public space.
Really?
If you go to the website that this is set up, you see the way they scored our ministers.
I saw your very angry response to the Guardian editorial. Your pen was more angry than your natural self in that you're a reporter. And the pain that a lot of people feel in this country, when some people when they nicknamed the president T-Pain, did the president know about that?
Not at all. He didn't know.
Up to now, the president is not aware.
Let me explain to you.
About that social media.
The Guardian did not write an editorial. The Guardian published a news report. And if you read the headline, call for military intervention, and then put something that we believe was even very provocative as the headline. And then to even worsen things, the Guardian used a cartoon showing a military tank and somebody like as if it's heralding the coming of the military with a horn or something, say, oh, military is coming, blah, blah, blah. Anybody who sees that, in terms of imagery, in terms of even the words the Guardian use, cannot but be very, very angry what Guardian did. As media people, we should not be seen calling for military intervention when if you remember what the experience we had under the military many years ago. The media have a duty to protect this democracy, to nurture it, not to bring it down. And that's the kind of thing, that's why we reacted. That we should not be doing that, we should not be doing things that even portray the media behaving in a way that is, to me, be termed as treason. When you are calling, in a democracy, you are calling the military to come and take over.
The realities of what is going on in the country, how much of that, because when citizens now start tagging their president and nickname synonymous to pain, how does the presidency feel about it? And you said the president is not aware about that social media.
The president is aware that the citizens are going through some difficulties.
But is he aware that some citizens on social media are calling him T-Pain?
The president does not read what is in the social media.
For you that to manage media for him,
he said
are you telling him, did you give him feedback?
I've seen people using that. Some people have also responded and they called the president a different name. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a non-issue. Some people just out of mischief saying somebody's a T-Pain. It's not T-Pain. The president has never shied away from telling Nigerians that he feels their pain and is working very hard to make sure that he gives them some relief so that things will get better. This country will enjoy more prosperity. If you check what he has been doing, things are pointing to that direction. And the programs that he has been implementing, we are beginning to see positive signs that things are getting better. Things were really bad when it came.
In what areas, Mr. Ononuga?
In several areas.
Yeah, because I mean, as a journalist, you perhaps will understand that when you are saying some of these things, you need to put figures and facts to to buttress what you're saying. Is it a point that Nigeria has now dramatically moved in almost every indices of the economy in the negative? Mr. Ononuga, Nigeria has now become the fourth on the continent in GDP.
Let me give you some
Nigeria's
examples.
Inflation rate, Nigeria's
our
food
economy
inflation,
growth,
our economy
despite
indices
inflation,
have really gone in the red, Mr. Ononuga.
Despite inflation, we are still recording economic growth. The first 2 quarters of this year, we recorded growth. Despite the inflation, revenue has increased. In fact, this country in the first half of this year recorded about 9.1 trillion naira in revenue. Before that, those 6 months, this government was not even getting money from oil. It was mainly the money collected from industries, from other sources and so on. That is where the money came from. Trade surpluses. First 2 quarters of this year, we continue. In fact, we hand more surplus this year in the first 2 quarters, showing that things are getting better. We are exporting more than we are importing. Those are positive signs that the economy is not regressing, that the economy is improving. Look at the stock market. Look at the stock market. People who invested there are making money. The stock index has gone up. In fact, at the stage it got to about 100,000, the index, and you can see positively we are getting more investment in that sector, and to show that the economy is not as bad as people are saying, but there are problems, no doubt.
Mr. Ononuga, that may be incorrect when you say the economy is not that bad. Mr. Ononuga,
if some companies are recording...
How do you gauge a bad economy, Mr. Ononuga? Your interest rate has gone in the last 1 year, gone from about 600 to 700 to about 1,700.
The CBN has been hiking interest rate because it wants to control inflation. That's the reason.
But you know the implication of that? No. When and the price of commodity have been affected. Food inflation is on the rise.
The main driver for inflation, the main driver is food. And this government is working very hard to bring the price of food down. By the time we get harvest, we are moving to dry season harvest now, dry season fraud now. This government is investing in it just like it did last time.
It might offend the sensibilities of those who may not be able to, who have now rationed their feeding to twice or once a day. When you say things are not as bad, it might make your government look like you're not sensitive to the pains of the Nigerian people.
I'm not saying people are not going through difficulties. Don't misquote me. Don't misunderstand. What I'm saying is that the economy, some people will be having some problems. But what I'm saying, there are some positive signs in this economy.
There are sectors of this economy, Mr. Ononuga, that has not gone this bad in the last 30 years.
There are some positive signs in this economy that show that things
are getting better.
But there are some people...
But does this government also realize that they have taken this economy from the worst to the worst that it has been in the last 30 years? And you have been following this for years.
No, this government is repairing it.
But it's getting bad in the process of repairing.
It's not getting bad.
You met inflation rate. You know what the figures are negative, Mr. Ononuga. I can mention 10 indices for you that show that this government met it 1 year and it's gone back.
Just one indicator.
Is it the price of tomatoes, the price of bread, the price of tuber? All food prices have gone in.
We are talking about I said the main driver of this inflation is food. Food. And this government
is there one commodity, Mr. Ononuga, that has remained the same in the last 1 year, that has not gone up today in this country?
I said the main driver.
No, I'm saying leave food aside.
The main driver.
I'm saying leave food aside.
You mentioned inflation. Yeah. You mentioned inflation. Of course, inflation means the rise in the price of goods. But I'm saying that the main driver of inflation is mainly, essentially, food.
The purchasing power of the average person has drastically been messed up. People can barely come by what they used to buy 1 year ago. And tonight, how do you tell the Nigerian people who are watching that the government of Bola Tinubu that promised renewed hope, and some of them are saying is renewed shaggy that they are seeing right now? What do you tell them?
You don't know. Well, this government has always said that things are going to get better. And I'm just telling you that things are actually getting better. There are still some areas, some gray areas that government needs to do. And this president has always ask Nigerians, I have told Nigerians, be patient a bit. We are going to get to the destiny we want to get to, and that things are going to get better in our country. So it's just a matter of being patient a bit. The president is aware of the difficulties citizens are going through, and is working very hard every day to ensure that things improve.
So the question will say, oh, the president made an order that the cost of governance, and those who will say, oh, those are just window dressing. What about the president buying new private jets? Presidential, adding to the presidential fleet. Is that what we need in the country when people are suffering? That money can really be used for something else. And there are those who will say the government does not show that it's actually sensitive to the need, to the plight of the average person in the kind of manner in which they go about things. In other countries, you see a drastic measures in the reduction in the cost of governance drastically. Is that an example that this government can show to Nigerians? I
don't agree with you. A new plane was bought for the president.
Was that necessary?
No, for safety reasons. For safety reasons. Because the plane the president inherited from President Buhari was actually bought by President Obasanjo. And in some of the travels he made, the plane even had some problems. So the National Assembly, the Office of National Security Advisor, they all felt that something ought to be done to protect the president. Unless you want to just allow a president to enter a plane that we can cause problems for him in the air or something like that. Basically, the reason why a new plane was acquired was for safety of the number one.
At the detriment of the livelihood and the lives.
Not at detriment,
of the Nigerian people. Look, can the nation afford that kind of luxury?
Don't let us exaggerate it.
Oh, can the nation afford the luxury, Mr. Ononuga?
Don't call it.
Can you buy a new vehicle when your children cannot feed?
This one was bought for the sake of safety.
But can you buy a vehicle, Mr. Ononuga, as a father, when your children are not able to feed?
If I have the money, why can't I buy another vehicle? If I have the money.
Does Nigeria have the money? We're badly in debt.
It's just an item. Just an item. Just an item.
But with a
just
huge
an
cost.
item. And it does not mean that government has also shared in responsibilities to fulfill other conditions, other things that our people need. It's just an item. I said the reason it was bought was for the safety of the number one citizen. Unless you want to throw him to the dogs. It was bought for his safety. Nothing more than that.
You speak for the president, and I like us to anchor in this manner, because a lot of people will say the president Bola Tinubu we knew in Lagos, vibrant, the president who knows the right persons to bring around him to get the right things done. But it does look to some of them who now think maybe they are reconsidering their decisions when they voted him into office, or those who voted him. What assurance can you give to Nigerians that things will actually be better? Because the people that are feeling the pains will tell you that they are hopeless at the moment.
Let me just assure them, let me face the camera to tell them that they should not lose hope. This government is on the right course, and by implementing all those reforms that the government is implementing, and that very soon, very shortly, Nigeria begin to see the impact, more than what I've even spoken about before, about the benefits of these reforms. We are trying to reduce the prices of food. We are tackling the issue of foreign exchange and things like that. As at October 22nd, the foreign reserve of the CBN went to about 39 billion, and they are building it up. By the time we build all this thing up, we find that the naira will get more traction, and things will begin to get improved. Exchange rate, the naira will stabilize, and things will start cooling down again.
Mr. Bayo Ononuga, Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on information and strategy. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Fear. You the fear. You are scared, but you don't want to stop calling our president in pain. However, let me give you a little hope to show you that some prominent Nigerians are still behind you, since you don't want to stop calling President in pain. Shehu Sani has revealed that you can go ahead to call your president any name you wishes. That is, you can continue to call him T-Pain hunger spreader, any economic saboteur, anything you will wish for, just be calling him. You understand? So Shehu said I should tell you that he's strongly behind you. But not be say you go hear Kusa, you go take off.